All right, so let's start. Let's now deep into bullying. Since today is Spirit Day, again, Spirit Day happen every third Thursday of October, which is a day that is mostly focusing on LGBTQ bullying and harassment. That is really very prevalent in most part of the world. So, and it's actually coming from the Oval Office of the White House of this country when you have a president that's trying to ban transgender from the militaries and targeting LGBT people with different laws and appointments and Supreme Court appointments and all of that. So bullying is very real on a daily basis, and it's really happening, and the people that bully have the positions of power, like right now in most part of the world. So I'm gonna go to the definition of bullying and the etymology of bullying and different area of bullying, and then I'm going to go to some story from GLAAD, which is the Gays and Lesbian Alliance Against Defamation, and some story of people that have to deal with bullying LGBTQ youth. And then after that, I'm going to go to three strategies that teacher, counselor, and staff can use to prevent adolescent bullying. Um, and the committee for it was published by the Committee for Children's blog that I just print out from the internet. So let me go to bullying. I'm gathering some information from Wikipedia and the internet in general. Bullying is the use of force, threats, and coercion to abuse, intimidate, or aggressively dominate others. The, the behavior is often repeated and habitual, which means usual. One essential prerequisite is the perception by the bully or by other of an imbalance of social physical power, which distinguish bullying from conflict. Behaviors used to assert such domination can include verbal harassment, threat, physical assault, coercion, and such act may be directed repeatedly toward particular targets. Rationalization of such behavior sometimes include difference of social class, race, religion, gender, sexual orientation, appearance, behavior, body language, personality, reputation, lineage, strength, size, or ability. If bullying is done by a group, it's called mobbing. Bullying can be defined in many different ways. The United Kingdom has no legal definition of bullying, while some states in the United States have laws against it. Bullying is divided into four basic type of abuse: emotional, sometimes called relational, verbal, physical, and cyber. Cyber, which means what's happening on the internet. It typically involves subtle or complicated methods of coercion, such as intimidation. Bullying range from one-on-one individual bullying to a group bullying called mobbing, in which the bully may have one or more lieutenants who may seem to be willing to assist the primary bully in his or her bullying activities. Bullying in school and the workplace is also referred to as peer abuse. Robert W. Fuller has analyzed bullying in the context of rankism. A bullying culture can develop in any context in which humans interact with each other. This includes school, family, the work, home, neighborhood. The main platform for bullying is on social media website. In 2012 study of male adolescent American football player, the strongest predictor of bullying was the perception of whether the most influential male in a player's life would approve of bullying behavior. Let's go to the content, definition, and type of bullying. So let's go to the type. We have individual bullying and collective bullying. So if we go to the characteristics of bullying, we have uh, characteristic of bullies and accomplices of typical bystanders of the victim. So effect of bullying, we have suicide, positive development, dark tirade, projection, emotional intelligence. Context of bullying, we have cyberbullying, which is internet bullying, disability bullying, gay bullying, legal bullying, military bullying, parental bullying of children, prison bullying, school bullying, bullying of students in class, sexual bullying, transgender bullying, workplace bullying, in other area, inanimate object. Prevention, then we're gonna go to prevention, responding to bullying, etymologies, and then we're going to move forward from there. So let's continue with the definitions of bullying. There is no universal definition of bullying. However, it's widely agreed upon that bullying is subcategory of aggressive behavior characterized by the following three minimum criteria: hostile intent, imbalance of power, and repetition over a period of time. Bullying may first be defined as the activity of repeated aggressive behavior intended to hurt another individual physically, mentally, or emotionally. The Norwegian searcher Dan always says bullying occurs when a person is exposed repeatedly and over time to negative action on the part of one or more other person. He says negative action occurs when a person intentionally inflicts injury or discomfort upon another person through physical contact, through verbal, or in other way. Individual bullying is usually characterized by a person behaving in a certain way to gain power over another person. So these are the example of the synonyms of bullying. We have badmouth, embarrass, smear, jest, torment, taunt, devalue, isolate, undermine, ridicule, humiliate, backbite, berate, overlook, shun, patronize, which mean humiliating as well, agitate, insult, discredit, harm, ignore, vilify, chastise, abuse, intimidation, infer, insinuate, include, exclude, bother, mock, defame, which is, like tarnishing your reputation. Type of bullying. Individual bullying can be classified into 4 types. Collective bullying is known as mobbing and can include any of the individual type of bullying. Physical, verbal, relational bullying are most prevalent in primary school and could also begin much earlier whilst continuing into later stage in individual life. It is stated that cyberbullying is more common in secondary school than in primary school. Individual bullying tactics can be perpetrated by a single person against a target or targets. Physical bullying. This is any bullying that hurts someone's body or damages their possessions, stealing, shoving, eating, fighting, and destroying property, or a type of physical bullying. Physical bullying is rarely the first form of bullying that a target will experience. Often bullying will begin in a different form and later progress to physical violence. In physical bullying, the main weapon the bully uses is their body when attacking their target. Sometimes group of young adults will target and alienate a peer because of some adolescent prejudice. This can quickly lead to a situation where they are being taunted, tortured, beaten up by their classmates. Physical bullying will often escalate over time and can lead to a tragic ending, and therefore must be stopped quickly to prevent any further escalations. Verbal bullying. This is any bullying that is conducted by speaking, calling names, spreading rumors, threatening somebody, and making fun of all form of verbal bullying. Verbal bullying is one of the most common type of bullying. In verbal bullying, the main weapon the bully uses is their voice. In many cases, verbal bullying is a province of girls. Girls are more subtle and can be more devastating. In general, than boys, girls use verbal bullying as well as social exclusion techniques to dominate and control other individuals and show their superiority and power. However, there are also many boys and subtlety enough to use verbal techniques for domination and who are practiced in using words when they want to avoid the trouble that can come with physical bullying somewhere else. Physically bullying someone else. Relational bullying. This is any bullying that is done with intent to hurt somebody's reputation or social standing, which can also link in with the techniques included in physical and verbal bullying. Relational bullying is a form of bullying common amongst youth, but particularly upon girls. Relational bullying can be used as a tool by bullies to both improve their social standing and control others. Unlike physical bullying, which is obvious, relational bullying is not overt, can continue for a long time without being noticed. Cyberbullying. Cyberbullying is the use of technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, and target another person. When an adult is involved, it may meet the definition of cyber harassment or cyber stalking, a crime that can have legal consequences and involve jail time. This includes email, instant messages, social networking sites such as Facebook, text messages, and cell phones. Collective bullying. Collective bullying tactics are employed by more than one individual against a target or targets. Trolling behavior on social media, although generally assumed to be individual in nature by the casual reader, is sometimes organized effort by sponsor astroturfers. Mobbing bullying. Mobbings refer to bullying of individual by a group in any context such as family, peer, school, worker, neighbor, community, or online. When it occurs as emotional abuse in the workplace, such as ganging up by coworkers, subordinates, or superior to force someone out of workplace through rumors, innuendos, intimidation, humiliation, discrediting, and isolation. It's also referred to as malicious, non-sexual, non-racial, racial general bullying. Characteristic of bullies and accomplice. Let's go to the characteristic. Studies have shown that envy and resentment may be motive for bullying. Research on the self-esteem of bullies have produced equivocal result. While some bullies are arrogant and narcissistic, they can also use bullying as a tool to conceal shame or anxiety or to boost self-esteem. By demeaning others, the abuser feels empowered. Bullies may bully out of jealousy because they themselves are bullied. Psychologist Roy Baumeister asserts that people who are prone to abusive behavior tend to have inflated but fragile egos. Wow. Because they think too highly of themselves, they are frequently offended by the criticism and lack of deference of others, of the other. Difference is like you want other people to worship you, you know. And react to this disrespect with violence and insult. Researchers identify other risk factors such as depression, personality disorder, as well as quickness to anger and use of force. Addition to aggressive behavior, mistaking others' action as hostile, concern with preserving self-image and engaging in obsessive or rigid action. A combination of these factors may also be caused to this behavior because of this behavior. In one study of youth, a combination of antisocial traits and depression was found to be the best predictor of youth violence, whereas video games violence and television violence exposure were not predictive of the behavior. Bullying may also result from a genetic predisposition or brain abnormality in bullies. While parents can help a toddler develop emotional regulation and control to restrict aggressive behavior, some children fail to develop this skill due to insecure attachment with their family, ineffective discipline, environmental factors such as stressful home life, and hostile siblings. However, according to some researchers, bullies may be inclined toward negativity and perform poorly academically. Dr. Cook said that a typical bully has trouble resolving problems with others and also has trouble academically. He or she usually has negative attitudes and beliefs about others, feel negatively toward himself, herself, come from a family environment characterized by conflict and poor parenting, perceives school as negative, is negatively influenced by peers. Contrary, some researchers suggested that some bullies are psychologically strongest and have high social standing among their peers, while their targets are emotionally distressed, socially marginalized. Peer group often promote the bully's actions, and members of this peer group also engage in behaviors such as mocking, excluding, punching, and insulting one or more as a source of entertainment. Other researchers also suggest that a minority of the bully, those who are not in turn bullied, enjoy going to school and are least likely to take days of sick. Research indicate that adults who bully have authoritarian personality combined with a strong need to control and dominate. It has also been suggested that a prejudicial views of subordinate can be a particular strong risk factor. Of typical bystanders. Often bullying takes place in the presence of a large group of relatively uninvolved bystanders. In many cases, it is the bully's ability to create the illusions that he or she has the support of the majority present that instill the fear of speaking out in protestation of the bullying activity being observed by the group. Unless the bullying mentality is effectively challenged in any given group in its early stage, it's often become an accepted, supported norm within the group. Unless action is taken, a culture of bullying is often perpetuated within a group for months, years, or longer. Bystanders who have been able to establish their own friendship group or support group have been found to be far more likely to opt to speak out against bullying behavior than those who have not. In addition to communications of clear expectation that bystanders should intervene and increase individual self-efficacy, there is growing research that suggests intervention should build on the foundation that bullying is morally wrong. Among adults, Being a bystander to a workplace bullying was linked to depression, particularly in women. Of victim, Dr. Cook said that a typical victim is likely to be aggressive, lack social skills, think negative thoughts, experience difficulty in solving social problems, come from a negative family, school, or community environment, and be noticeably rejected and isolated by peers. Victims often have characteristics such as being physically weak, as long as being easily distraught emotionally. They may also have physical characteristics that make them easier targets for bullies, such as being overweight or having some type of physical deformity. Boys are more likely to be victims of bullying, while girls are more likely to be bullied indirectly. The result of meta-analysis conducted by Dr. Cook and published by the American Psychological Association in 2010 concluded that the main risk factor of children and adolescents being bullied and also for becoming bullied are the lack of social problem-solving skills. Children who are bullied often show physical or emotional signs such as being afraid to attend school, complaining of headache or loss of appetite, lack interest in school activity, spending time with friends or family, and having overall sense of sadness. Woo! We have to get this done. Effects of bullying. Mona O'Moore of the Anti-Bullying Center at Trinity College in Dublin has written, there is a growing body of research which indicate that individual, whether child or adult who are persistently subject to abusive behavior, are at risk of stress-related illnesses which can sometimes lead to suicide. Those who have been the target of bullying can suffer from long-term emotional and behavioral problems. Bullying can cause loneliness, depression, anxiety that lead to low self-esteem, increased susceptibility to illness. Bullying has also been shown to cause maladjustment in young children, and targets of bullying who were also bullied themselves exhibit even greater social difficulties. A mental health reports also found that bullying was linked to eating disorder, anxiety, body dysmorphia, and other negative psychological effects. Suicide. This is what is really affecting most of LGBT youth, especially now transgender youth, because now the focus is on transgender. Even though there is evidence that bullying increases the risk of suicide, bullying alone does not cause suicide. Depression is one of the main reasons why kids who are bullied die by suicides. It is estimated that between 15 to 25 children die by suicide every year in the UK alone because they are being bullied. Certain groups seem to incur a higher risk of suicide, such as Native American, Alaskans, Native, Asian American, and LGBT people. When someone feels unsupported by his or her family or friend, it can make situation much worse for the victim. It is in a self-report study completed in New York by 9th through 12th graders. Victims of bullying report more depressive symptoms and psychological distress than those who did not experience bullying. All type of involvement in bullying among boys and girls respectively is associated with depression. Even a couple years later, another study that followed up with Finnish teens 2 years after the initial survey showed that depression and suicide ideation is higher with teens who are bullied than those who did not report experiencing bullying. A Dutch longitudinal studies on elementary students report that boys who are bull victim are who play both roles of victim and the bully were more likely to experience depression or serious suicide ideation than the other roles. Victims or bullies only while girl Victims of bullying only while girls who have any involvement in bullying have higher level of risk of depression. In a study of high school students completing in Boston, students who self-reported being victim of bullying were more likely to consider suicide when compared to youth who did not report it being bullied. The same study also shows a higher risk of suicidal consideration in youth who report being a perpetrator, victim, or victim perpetrator. Victims and victim bullies are associated with higher risk of suicide attempts. The place where youth live also appear to differentiate their bullying experience, such as those living in more urban area who report both being bullied and bullying. Other appear to show higher risk of suicide ideation and suicide attempt. A national survey given to American 6th grade through 10th grade students found that cyberbullying victims experience a higher level of depression than victims experience other forms of bullying. This can be related to the anonymity behind social media. If a teen is being bullied and he is displaying symptoms of depression, it should be questioned and intervention should be implemented. The Danish study shows that kids who are being bullied talk to their parents and teacher about it, and some report a decrease in bullying or a stop in the bullying after a teacher or a parent intervene. The study emphasized the importance of implementing program collaboration in school to have programs and anti-bullying prevention intervention in place to prevent and properly intervene when it occurs. The study also showed the importance of having parents and teachers to talk to the bullies about their bullying's behavior in order to provide the necessary support for those experiencing bullying. While some people find it very easy to ignore a bully, others may find it very difficult and reach a breaking point. There have been cases of apparent bullying suicide that have been reported closely by the media. This includes the death of Ryan Arlington, Phoebe Prince, Dawn Marie Wesley, Nicola Ann Raphael, Megan Mayer, Audrey Port, Tyler Clementine, Jamie Rodimer, Kenneth Washington, Jaden Bell, Kelly Yermans, Yerta Person, Amanda Todd, Brody Panlock, Jessica Arthur, Ahmed Nashto, Slajana Vidovic, April Imes, Cheris Morales, and Rebecca Ann Sedgwick. According to the Suicide Awareness Voice for Education, suicide is one of the leading causes of death for youth from 15 to 25 years old. Over 16% of students seriously consider suicide. 13% create plan, and 8% have made a serious attempt. So let's move to positive development. Some have argued that bullying can teach life lessons and instill strength. Ellen Goldberg, a child development academic, sparked controversy when she argued that being a target of bullying can teach a child how to manage disputes and boost their ability to interact with others, and that teachers should not intervene but leave children to respond to the bullying themselves. The teachings of such anti-bullying coping skills to would-be targets and to the other have been found to be an effective long-term meaning of reducing bullying and incident rates and valuable skill set for individuals. Dark triad. So let's go to dark triad, and then we're gonna go to research on the dark triad, which is narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy, indicates a correlation with bullying as part of evidence of aversive nature of those traits. So it means bullying is linked to narcissism, Machiavellism, and psychopathy sometimes. Projection. A bully may project his or her own feeling of vulnerability onto the target of the bullying activity. Despite the fact that the bully's typically denigrating activity are aimed at the bully's target, the true source of such negativity is ultimately almost found in the bully's own sense of personal insecurity and or vulnerability, such as aggressive projection of displaced negative emotion can occur anywhere from the micro level of interpersonal relationship all the way up through the micro level of interpersonal politics or even interpersonal arms conflict. Emotional intelligence. Let's see. Emotional intelligence. Bullying is abusive social interaction between peers, which can include aggression, harassment, violence. Bullying is typically repetitive and enacted by those who are in the position of power over the victim. A growing body of research illustrates a significant relationship between bullying and emotional intelligence. Mayer Earls in 2008 defined the dimension of overall EI as accurately perceiving emotion, using emotion to facilitate thought, understanding emotion, and managing emotion. The concept combines emotional and intellectual process. Lower emotional intelligence appear to be related to involvement in bullying as the bully or the victim of bullying. EI seem to play an important role in both bullying behavior and victimization in bullying. Given the emotional intelligence is illustrated to be malleable, emotional intelligence in education could greatly improve bullying prevention and intervention initiatives. Context. All right, almost done. Yes. Context. Let's go to context. Cyberbullying is any bullying done through the use of technology. This form of bullying can easily go undetected because of lack of parental authoritative supervision. Because bullying can pose as someone else, it is the most anonymous form of bullying. Cyberbullying include but not limited to abuse using emails, instant messaging, text messaging, websites, social networking sites, etc. With the creation of social media like Facebook, MySpace, Instagram, Twitter, cyberbullying has increased. Particularly watchdog organizations have been designed to contain the spread of cyberbullying. Disability bullying. It has been noted that disabled people are disproportionately affected by bullying and abuse, and such activity has been cited as hate crime. The bullying is not limited to those who are visibly disabled, such as wheelchair users, or physically deformed, such as those with cleft lips, but also those with learning disabilities, such as autism and developmental coordination disorder. There is an additional problem that those with learning disability often not as able to explain things to other people, so are more likely to be disbelieved or ignored if they do complain. Gay bullying. Gay bullying and gay bashing designate direct or indirect verbal or physical action by a person or a group against someone who is gay or lesbian or perceived to be so due to rumor because they are considered to fit gay stereotype. Gays and lesbian youth are more likely than straight youth to report bullying. Legal bullying. Legal bullying is the bringing of a vexatious legal action to control and punish a person. Legal bullying can often take the form of frivolous, repetitive, or burdensome lawsuits brought to intimidate the defendant into submitting to the litigant's request, not because of the legal merits of the litigant's position, but principally due to the defendant's inability to maintain the legal battle. This can also take the form of strategic lawsuits against public participation. It was partially concerned about the potential for this kind of abuse that helped to fuel the protests against SOPA and PIPA in the United States in 2011 to 2012. Military bullying. In 2000, the UK Ministry of Defense defined bullying as the use of physical strength or the abuse of authority to intimidate or victimize others or to give unlawful punishment. Some argue that this behavior should be allowed due to the way in which soldiering is different from other occupations. Soldiers expected to risk their life should, according to them, develop strength of body and spirit to accept bullying. Parental bullying of children. Parents who may display their anger, insecurity, and persistent need to dominate and control upon their children in excessive way have been proven to increase the likelihood that their own children will be in turn become overly aggressive or controlling toward their peers. The American Psychological Association advised on its website that parents who may suspect that their own children may be engaging in bullying activity among their peers should carefully consider the example which they themselves may be setting for their own children regarding how they typically interact with their own peers, colleagues, and children. Prison bullying. An environment known for bullying is in prison. An additional complication is the staff and the relationship with inmates. Thus, the following possible bullying scenarios are possible. Inmates bully inmates, occurring school bullying. Staff bully inmates. Staff bully staff, a manifestation of workplace bullying. Inmates bully staff. School bullying. Bullying of students in school. Bullying can occur in nearly any part in or around the school building, although it may occur more frequently during physical educations and activities such as recess. Bullying also takes place in school always. Bathroom on school buses while waiting for buses and in classes that require group work and after school activity. Bullying in class sometimes consists of a group of students taking advantage of and isolating one student in particular and gaining the loyalty of bystanders who want to avoid becoming the next target. In the 2011 documentary Bully, we see firsthand the torture that kids go through both in school and while on the school bus. As the motive follow around a few kids, we see how bullying affects them both at school as well as in their home. While bullying has no age limit, this bully may taunt and tease their target before finally physically bullying them. Bystanders typically choose to either participate or watch, sometimes out of fear of becoming the next target. Bullying can also be participated by teacher and the school system itself. There is an inherent power differential in the system that can easily predispose to subtle or covert abuse, relational aggression or passive aggression, humiliations, exclusion, even while maintaining overt commitment to anti-bullying policies. In 2016, in Canada, a North American legal precedent was set by a mother and a son after the son was bullied in his public school. The mother and son won the court case against Ottawa Carleton District School Board, making this the first case in North America where a school board has been found negligent in bullying case for failing to meet the standards of care, the duty of care that the school board owed to its students. Thus, it set a precedent for a school board being found liable in negligence for harm caused to a child because they failed to protect a child from the bullying actions of other students. There has been only one other similar bullying case, and it was won in Australia in 2013, Austin versus St. Patrick College in 2013. Sexual bullying. Sexual bullying is any bullying behavior, whether physical or non-physical, that is based on a person's sexuality or gender. It is when sexuality or gender is used as a weapon by boys, girls toward other boys or girls. Although it is more commonly directed at girls, it can be carried out to a person's face, behind their back, or through the use of technology. Transgender bullying, which is very pervasive in this country. Transgender bullying is the act of victimizing a person physically, sexually, verbally because they are transgender or transsexual. Unlike gay bashing, it is committed because of the target's actual or perceived gender identity, not sexual orientation. Workplace bullying. This is another type of bullying, workplace bullying. Workplace bullying occurs when an employee experiences a persistent pattern of mistreatment from other in the workplace that cause harm. Workplace bullying can include such tactics as verbal, nonverbal, psychological, physical abuse, and humiliation. This type of workplace aggression is particularly difficult because, unlike the typical form of school bullying, workplace bullying often operates within the established rules and policies of the organization and the society. Bullying in the workplace is in the majority of cases reported as having perpetrated by someone in authority over the target. However, bullies can also be peers and occasionally can be subordinate. The first non-documented use of workplace bullying is in 1992 in the book of Andre Adams called Bullying at Work: How to Confront and Overcome It. Research has also investigated the impact of the larger organizational context on bullying, as well as the group level processes that impact on the incidence and maintenance of bullying behavior. Bullying can be covert or overt. Covert means hidden, overt means openly. It may be missed by superior or known by many throughout the organization. Negative effects are not limited to the target individual and may lead to the decline in employee morale or discipline and a change in organizational culture. A, a, con, a, con, and a con, constant collaboration system reviews have found very low quality evidence to suggest that organizational and individual intervention may prevent bullying behavior in the workplace. In academia, I think university or higher education, bullying in academia is workplace bullying of scholars and staff in academia, especially place of higher education such as colleges and university. It is believed to be common, although has not received as much attention from researchers as bullying in some other contexts. In blue-collar jobs, bullying has been identified as prominent in blue-collar jobs, including in oil rigs, mechanic shops, machines shops. It is thought that intimidation and fear of retribution cause decreased incident reports. In industries sector dominated by male, typically of little education, where disclosure of incidents are seen as effeminate, reporting in the socio-economic and cultural milieu of such industry would likely lead to a vicious circle. This is often used in combination with manipulation, coercion of facts to gain favor among higher-ranking administrators. In information technology, a culture of bullying is common in information technology, leading to high sickness rate, low morale, poor productivity, and high staff turnover. Deadline-driven project work and stressed-out managers take their toll on IT workers. In legal profession, that's where paralegal studies and other comes in. Legal profession. Ooh, let's see. Yeah, almost done. Almost done. Bullying in the legal profession is believed to be more common than in some other professions. It is believed that it's adversarial, hierarchical, tradition contributes toward this. Women trainees and solicitors who have been qualified for 5 years or less are more impacted, as are ethnic minority lawyers, lesbian, gays, and bisexual lawyers. In medicine, bullying in medical profession is common, particularly of students or trainee doctors and of nurses. It is thought that this is, at least in part, an outcome of conservative traditional hierarchical structure and teaching method in the medical profession, which may result in bullying cycle. Bullying in nursing, even though the American Nurse Association believes that all nursing personnel have the right to work in safe, non-abusive environment. Oh, let me see. Non-abusive environment. Where were we? Bullying has been identified as being particularly prevalent in the nursing profession, although the reasons are not clear. It is thought that relational aggression, psychological aspects of bullying such as gossiping and intimidation are relevant. Relational aggression has been studied among girls but not so much among adult women. In teaching, school teachers are commonly the subject of bullying, but they are also sometimes the originator of bullying within a school environment. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Let's see what we got here. In other areas, as the verb to bully is defined as simply forcing one's way aggressively by intimidation. In term may generally apply to any life experience where one is motivated primarily by intimidation instead of by more positive goals such as mutually shared interest and benefit. As such, any figure of authority or power who may use intimidation as a primary means of motivating others, such as neighborhood protection racket don, a national dictator, a child ring leader, and terrorist or terrorist organization, or even ruthless business CEO could rightfully be referred to as bully. According to psychologist Pauline Rennie Payton, we each face the possibility of being bullied in any phase of our life. Inanimate object. Children have been observed bullying anthropomorphic robots designed to assist the elderly. Their attacks start with blocking the robot's path of movement and then escalate the verbal abuse, eating and destroying the object. 75% of kids interviewed perceive the robot as human-like, yet decide to abuse it anyway, while 35% of the kids who beat up the robot actually did so for enjoyment. Let's move to prevention and responding. And we'll be almost finished. How to prevent bullying. Bullying prevention is the collective effort to prevent, reduce, and stop bullying. Many campaigns and events are designated to bullying prevention throughout the world. Bullying prevention campaign and events include Anti-Bullying Days, Anti-Bullying Week, International Day of Pink, International Stand Up to Bullying Day, National Bullying Prevention Day. Anti-bullying laws in the United States have also been enacted in 23 of its 50 states, making bullying in school illegal. Responding to bullying. Bullying is typically ongoing and not isolated behavior. Common way that people try to respond are they try to ignore it, to confront the bullies, or to turn an authority figure to try to address it. Ignoring it often does nothing to stop the bullying continuing, and it can become worse over time. It can be important to address bullying behavior early on, as it can be easier to control the earlier it is detected. Bystander may play an important role in responding to bullying, as doing nothing can encourage it to continue, while small steps that oppose the behavior can reduce it. Authority figure can play an important role, such as parent in child and adolescent situation, or supervisor, human resource staff, or parent body in workplace and volunteer setting. Authority figure can be influential in recognizing and stopping bullying behavior and creating a work environment where it doesn't continue. In many situations, however, people acting as authority figures are untrained and unqualified, do not know how to respond, and can make situations worse. In some cases, the authority figure even support the people doing the bullying, facilitating it, continuing and increasing the isolation of marginalizing of the target and marginalizing the target. Some of that are being targeted, some of people are being targeted. People that are being targeted have little control over which authority figure they can turn to and how such matter will be addressed. However, one means of support is to find a counselor or a psychologist that is trained in handling bullying. Etymology, or the origin of the word bullying. Etymology. The word bully was first used in 1530s, meaning sweetheart, applied to either sex from the Dutch boy, lover, brother, probably um, dimini, diminutive of middle high school brother of uncertain origin, compared with the German Brüder lover. The meaning deteriorated through the 17th century through the fine fellow blasterer to harasser of the weak. This may have been as a connecting sense between lover and ruffian in protector of a property, which was one sense of bully, though not specifically attested until 1706. The verb the verb to bully is first attested in 1710. In the past, in American culture, the term has been used differently as an exclamation exhortation, in particular, famously associated with Theodore Roosevelt, and continuing to the present in the bully pulpit, and also offend and deprecating praise bully for him. All right, let's go to the next phase.